Jeremy Clarkson is a name that always causes a storm of emotions. At the moment, there are disturbing rumors about his possible arrest, and this infuriates people. The public cannot contain their outrage, and heated debates are breaking out on social media about what many consider to be a blatantly unfair step. People unite to express their dissatisfaction and defend their idol, and the atmosphere is heating up by the minute.
I think it's been really moving seeing all the farmers and their families descend on Westminster. Of course, we're used to seeing protests outside Parliament, but very few as emotional, I think, as the ones we've seen today. Lots of tractors, people of all ages, even children coming along. And of course, fundamentally, underlying these protests has been the future of British farming. Will these new inheritance tax rules stop families from passing on farms from one generation to the other? And of course, some people on the left, think that farmers should be taxed like everybody else, that they're rich because they own a lot of wealth in their land. But of course, farmers would tell a very different story. Yes, on paper, their land might be worth millions of pounds, but that doesn't mean they have any cash in the bank. And if they do have to break up their farm to sell a few fields in order to be able to pay this new tax bill, will their farm be profitable at all in the future? And I think we have a long history of treating farmers differently.
It's not worth hiding the truth. Keir Starmer's leadership and the governance of the United Kingdom have become real hot topics for discussion. But what provoked such a sharp turn of attention? The news spread with amazing speed. Shocking rumours have emerged that Jeremy Clarkson may be arrested. For a person who always openly expresses his opinions and is not afraid of provocations, such an opportunity does not seem improbable. But what really struck everyone was the incredible interest and attention that this rumour aroused. People literally boiled over with emotions, discussing every detail, and this created a real storm in society.
Are you now feeling the pressure? Because I think there's a petition that's currently
Your approval
online
ratings have dropped.
1.9 people who want the election to go again.
It's now
Is
over
it 2 million now?
It's now just over 2 million.
Do you feel the pressure?
Look, I remind myself that very many people didn't vote Labour at the last election. I'm not surprised that many of them want a rerun. That isn't how our system works.
Social media literally exploded when Jeremy Clarkson's fans vented their anger and bewilderment in the blink of an eye. How could a man who built his empire on bold opinions and a bright personality become a target for such brutal attacks? But discontent was felt not only among Clarkson's loyal fans. The general public also rallied around him, wondering why he, of all people, could be in danger of arrest. What is the real reason? Why would such an iconic figure, especially in the world of agriculture, where he has become a true defender of farmers' interests, find himself in a situation that could lead to catastrophic consequences? Some began to perceive Clarkson as a victim of a tyrannical government, recalling the cases of Tommy Robinson. However, the real focus of attention was the government's reaction, especially from Keir Starmer. Many began to feel that the situation was turning into a political spectacle, and Starmer's apparent indifference only added fuel to the fire of controversy. Despite the growing petitions for his re-election, Starmer's responses only intensified criticism, and he was called a ruthless leader who, according to many, does not care about people at all.
So Keir Starmer has said he is not that surprised that a petition calling for another election has gathered more than 2 million signatures. Once a petition has 100,000 signatures, it is likely to be debated in Parliament. The petition accuses the Labour government of breaking promises, but speaking today, the Prime Minister said he had to take the hard decisions.
Keir Starmer had a unique chance to demonstrate to the public that he really hears their demands, that he is ready to respond to the growing calls for change. Instead, he seemed to be mocking a petition signed by 2 million people who were demanding new elections with hope and despair. His equanimity looked like a cold disregard, and ridiculing this idea was like a stab in the back to those who sincerely crave change. Starmer didn't seem to hear the voices of people who were tired of inaction and demanding change. The petition, which gathered 2 million signatures, became a cry for help, a clear signal of dissatisfaction with the current situation. But his dismissive response was a bitter reminder to many that he may not care what people want. Trust is not built on ignoring, and his reaction only reinforced the feeling that he was not ready to become the leader that society needed in this difficult time.
They're taking over. We've got a two-tier police system that supports them more than the Christian majority. We're given second-rate housing compared with them. We're treated as second-class citizens. And what's more is the indoctrination of the young children in schools, the brainwashing of police, teachers, university dons and the rest of it. And they're afraid, they're shit scared of losing their jobs. That's why they're cowards in my book.
The reaction of Keir Starmer, who laughed it off, was not just an unfortunate choice. It was a real blow to the heart for those who expected understanding and support from him. He sent a clear message: I don't care what you think. For many, it was a disappointment that deeply hurt their hopes for true leadership. Starmer missed a crucial opportunity to connect with voters, to show that he really hears their discontent and shares their feelings. Instead, he brushed them off as if they were just noise that didn't matter. The more he ignored the growing discontent, the more the society felt unheard. In a democracy, such neglect is not just a mistake, it is a dangerous path that can lead to catastrophic consequences. If the rumors are true, and Starmer is somehow connected to the possible arrest of Clarkson, the consequences of this will be difficult to ignore. Such actions can be perceived as a direct attack on freedom of speech, an attempt to silence one of the most influential people in the UK, and we are talking about Jeremy Clarkson, a figure whose harsh statements not only fill the headlines, but also form a national discussion, touching the hearts and minds of millions.
So a West Midlands publican called Michael Westwood decided, wouldn't it be fun to put up on the government's petition website a petition demanding that there is a general election because Labour have broken all of their promises and it's just not good enough. Well, it is 2.7 million last time we looked, people that have signed it, and it is going up very quickly. But I have to say the rate at which it's going up may have slowed, but hey, it still may have further to run. Now, do these petitions actually make any difference? What happens is, if you get more than 100,000 signatures, it goes to the petitions committee, and they may well have a debate in Parliament or a Westminster Hall debate on a subject that's been raised, or they can, actually, if they choose.
Jeremy Clarkson has always courageously expressed his opinion, no matter how much it could cause controversy and disagreement. His ability to maintain a lively discussion, whether in agreement or disagreement with him, is beyond doubt. That is why the idea that he might be silenced is deeply disturbing. Yeah, if Keir Starmer, someone else, decides to use his power against outspoken critics, it will not just be a problem for Clarkson, it will signal a much more serious threat regarding the suppression of dissenters. This is not the first time Starmer has faced accusations that he is trying to drown out the voices of his opponents. Take, for example, Nigel Farage, who also came into conflict with the Starmer administration. Both Clarkson and Farage, despite their contradictions, share one important trait: they are not afraid to tell the truth, even when it may cost them a lot. However, their experience raises troubling questions about the state of free speech and political accountability in the UK.
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
Right, so it's not about you, it's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
Classic BBC then, classic.
Is it?
Oh yeah. It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it. Sorry?
BBC. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
I wanted a shoot. Okay, that's even worse to the BBC. I wanted a shoot, which comes with the benefit of not having to pay inheritance tax. Now I do. But people like me will simply put it in a trust. And so long as I live for 7 years, that's fine. And as my daughter said, you will live for 7 years. You might be in a deep freeze at the end.
When they break the law, they inevitably face a furious backlash. This applies not only to those directly involved, but also to what it says about the government's position towards those who dare to challenge it. If Keir Starmer is ready to speak out against bold critics like Jeremy Clarkson, it sends an alarming signal: speak your mind, and you may be silenced, as if your right to vote does not matter. But in recent years, Clarkson has become something more. he has turned into an unexpected hero for farmers who desperately need support. His show opened the eyes of millions of viewers to the real problems faced by agriculture in modern Britain. For many, he has become the real voice of rural communities that have long remained in the shadows, ignored by both the media and the government. Clarkson doesn't just talk, he fights for those who cannot be heard, and this makes his role even more significant in our society. What do you think about it? Tell me your opinion in the comments. See you.